Okay, we're going to talk about how to throw a basic snap. And we're going to call it a snap. It's just basically the basic 4-blade strike. Uh, I've already done videos of this. They're somewhere back, lost in the archives. But we're going to go over it with just a rattan stick. Yeah, so you can kind of get a rough idea. Remember, this is just the very beginning of throwing a 4-blade strike, a snap. This is not its final form, not a pro style. It's going to go through many iterations before you get it just right. But this is for you guys who just started getting into the game or just want to start refining, how you throw things versus just clubbing. And like I said, the mechanics are not going to be super deep. They're not going to be super refined. We're just going to go over gross motions so that you can start, as a new guy, start throwing 4-blade shots. So we call it throwing a shot. We don't call it pushing a shot. We call it throwing a shot. And that's because the mechanic, despite what a lot of people like to say, the best mechanic for generating really fast, really hard strikes with the least amount of effort is you throw them. You throw them like you do a spear, like you do a football, like you do a baseball, a tennis ball, a rock, and all that. A lot of people like to say, oh yeah, you keep your arm at your side and you just rotate your hips in. Well, try to throw a football like that, just rotating that in, right? Try to throw a spear. Try to throw a baseball. It doesn't work that way, right? The proper way to say throw a football would be more like you're here, and note where that elbow is. I'm out here, the elbow's out, and it comes forward, and I drill that spiral right in there. Boom. Same thing with a baseball. Up here, bam, I release. But this elbow comes out, and then it slams forward, boom, and then you release. Same thing with a spear. If you got a spear, which I just have a little stick here, right? You're gonna wanna, you take that spear, and what happens? Do you keep your arm tucked in like this? No, you don't. You bring it out, and you hurl that elbow forward, and in proper mechanics of it, your elbow actually moves further forward than your arm, than your hand. So throwing a spear, it'd be boom, boom. And you drill it like you do a football. You drop that little spiral in there. Same thing with a snap. You can line up, you get that out there. I mean, you can even pretend it's like a football. Just hold it here, pretend like it's the back half of a spear. And then you throw that elbow forward. And if you just put your hand out here, for right now, let me drop the stick real quick, is if you get it and just rest it on your shoulder, and then you just bring this elbow to your hand, you can favor this side a little bit, and then just throw it in there really fast. You'll notice that if you do and you leave your hand, non-restrained, if you leave it loose, it'll automatically coil over flat and throw the flat snap. You don't have to do a bunch of other stuff if you just anatomically go with it, move the elbow crossed, and you throw the flat snap. Elbow crossed. Notice boom, 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 boom. So a lot of people sit there and they'll try to throw their flat snap, and they'll start by they'll start by rotating their hips into it and then kind of pushing it and pushing the whole hand forward. The elbow motion here will beat the push motion almost every time. Plus, in order to get the push rotation off, you have to put your hips into it. Now, putting your hips into shots is actually really good. I almost always do it when I can and just drive it in there, but I'll always start with the elbow a little out. Common thing that people say, well, you're chicken winging and I'm just gonna hit your, trust me, people have tried so many times. You just adjust your guard and you have it more like this right here, and you just get good at blocking your arm. But the strikes give as little tell as possible when you throw them that way. When you're just frozen here and then you just, boom, throw it in, bam, bam, bam. So rotate the elbow in and then just let the hand naturally flow forward and it'll flow flat. You can do the classic, act like you got a plate here, a bowl with water in it, whatever, and throw it flat. But you start out right here. You can try to bring it back, but bring the elbow across and then just keep your hand flat. And you'll see that whenever you bring in this elbow, this hand wants to, on its own, go flat. You don't really have to guide it much. You just bring the elbow in, boom. It'll just serve it up nice and flat for you. So that's just the basic 4-blade strike. We'll call it a basic snap for now. So just line up here. You just, boom. Let me see if I can do this. You just strike the leg, strike the body, and just rotate that in. A little too close, but the camera positioning isn't the greatest for the light. Just bring this across. Another reason for throwing it like that is you can leave the rest of your body completely still and then just throw it with your arm versus a big, large motion tell. Like if you have to rotate your entire body into the strike in order to throw it, then that not only gives the tell of your hips moving, your entire body, your entire shoulders go into it, which actually gives somebody a lot more time to respond to it. It's kind of like if we're boxing and I go this, you know it's gonna come, versus just a pop forward, you know? So same thing with the snap. But again, this is just the basic starter. So I know a bunch of you guys are gonna get really super picky about it. Obviously I don't care, right? I know that it works pretty good, and then in its evolved form, it's highly effective. But for right now, just move from whatever guard you're in, move the elbow forward, and then just let the hand naturally flow flat, right? Straight in. It'll automatically want to do that. Same thing with the body, same thing with the leg. You just got to bring it down and bring the elbow at a downward angle. You can even time it to where you just focus on getting the elbow across and then let the stick fly forward after the fact. Okay, that's that one. We'll refine more on snaps later, but this is just the start. Talk to you later.